The Foundry's Nuke is a full-featured compositing and post-effects application, and it works very well in our pipeline, running from 3ds Max, rendering out images, and bringing them in here to Nuke for some final polish and artistic tweaking. As long as we've got flexibility rendered out from 3ds Max, we can push things around in post easily. If we've got things baked in, like depth of field, for example, doing it here is much harder. I've rendered out of 3ds Max beauty, ambient occlusion, depth, and mask passes, and I'll bring them in here into Nuke and get them arranged so I can start to tweak the final look of my imagery. I'll press R to read in an image, and I'll browse over in the exercise files into the Compositing Chapter 6 Nuke folder. Here in the Chapter 6 Nuke folder is a folder called Images, and these are the rendered images we'll be using for all the Nuke exercises. All the different Nuke scripts will reference these particular files. What I'll start out with is bringing in the beauty pass, and I've got a selection here to choose from. There's the black and white beauty for the day, and also a dusk shot in color. I'll start out with the dusk shot in color and click Next. Then I'll pick the black and white, pick Next, the EXR, the depth, and finally the object ID. The mask may actually have other layers in it, so I'll bring that one in as well, even though the beauty section of the mask, the RGBs, doesn't quite look nice. It's really just a black house against the sky. I'll click Open, and all of my images will come in, stacked in here in Nuke, ready for assembly. Here's how I'll make this work. I'll space these pieces out a little bit. Some of the things, like the masks here and the object IDs, won't get merged in directly, but instead they'll be chosen as masks in the flow. Pieces like the beauty and ambient occlusion, then, will get merged together. We merge ambient occlusion as a multiply operation or blending mode so that the white disappears and the black adds grounding darkness in our render. What I'm going to do is to set up two different flows here in the node graph, one for the daylight shot and one for the dusk. I'll drag the daylight over, pull my ambient occlusion in, and press M for merge. Nuke works in an A over B workflow. A lays over B in some way, some kind of operation. So I'll take the B arrow from the merge and drag it onto Read 3, my beauty shot for the day. Then I'll press 1 to show that merge, and there's the first merge of the ambient occlusion over the beauty pass. What I'm going to do is pull my mask to the side and set up a parallel flow for the dusk shot, panning over using the mouse wheel. With nothing selected, I'll press M again, and it gives me a free or unconnected merge. I'll drag the B arrow onto my dusk beauty shot and the A onto my existing ambient occlusion. I'll press 1 to show that merge, and again I see the ambient occlusion sitting over the dusk. I'm ready to set the operations and start to perform color correction and depth on my imagery. Importing or reading in those nodes is the key step. Typically, I'll import or read in all of my different footage elements and then set up all the merges, getting the flow correct before I go through and do all the operations on them. This way, I'm guaranteed to see all the different parts once I start to deal with transparency in the images.